I didn't know you would be so...
Hi guys, and welcome to another one of my videos. Today I want to talk about this long anticipated sequel, Bloodlines 2. I mean, the first Bloodlines game literally came out about 20 plus years ago, 2004 if I'm not mistaken. So Bloodlines 2 has been literally a long time coming and a very long awaited sequel, particularly for myself. Seeing as I've been such a massive fan of the first game, I've replayed the first Vampire Bloodlines, I don't know, at least 8 times or so over the years. And I still stand by the opinion that it is one of the best role-playing games I've ever played in my life. And unfortunately, due to a tumultuous development, we are left with the final product that is Bloodlines 2.
Well, hello there.
Oh my, I think I know what you are.
Glad she knew that, because I had no idea what she thought I was. I'd have to play this carefully.
The one positive I do want to at least bring up is that it did make it to the finish line, because when it was first originally cancelled in 2019 and they changed developers and just scrapped most of what was originally done and cancelled pre-orders and all that, I honestly didn't expect Bloodlines 2 would ever see the light of day. So the fact that we actually have a game is something that we should celebrate. Unfortunately, there are a lot of issues I do want to bring up. I have spent quite a few hours playing Bloodlines 2 now, so I've started to get a bit of an impression of what the game has to offer, and there are several issues I want to bring up. So I did go into it with low expectations because I was aware that a lot of elements had to be cut and they had to streamline a lot of things in order to finish the game and have it in a playable state. So I knew that there were going to be a lot of role-playing elements cut out. They changed the direction from the originally planned thin blood character-focused plot to one in which you're playing as an elder vampire and you have this split personality kind of situation with Fabian, this Malkavian vampire. You'll see as you play within the first hour or two, it gets revealed as to why you have this voice talking to you in your head. And of course, the explanation as to why there isn't much progression or role-playing elements is because you start off as an elder vampire, so there isn't much room for growth and that sort of thing. But I mean, let's be real here. The first vampire game and Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines is based on a robust role-playing system. I'm talking about a character sheet, character customization, choice of clans, different playthroughs and choices in the story and dialogue and everything based on your clan choice, based on your dialogue choice, using skills and character feats for persuasion and manipulation, seduction, using vampire powers as well in dialogue, not just in combat situations.
Hey, hold on a minute there. I'm afraid you are committing a 351. That's trespassing on private property. I'm gonna have to ask that you vacate the premises immediately, or I'm afraid I'll be forced to radio this in. Well, Missy, that's just a natural response that people have to someone in my kind of position. The risk, the prestige, the authority. It's a tough job, but somebody's gotta do it.
You know, those are the various aspects that were offered in the original Bloodlines game, and a lot of that has been removed. Essentially, what you have been left with is either a choice of being male or female. There's no customization of your character's appearance. You can change outfits later on. You can't play as a Malkavian. You can play as various other clans, but it doesn't seem to have as great as an effect as one would hope on the dialogue choices. If you remember the kind of crazy things you could do if, say, you were a Malkavian, remember that infamous talking to the stop sign kind of gag. That was great because it encouraged you to just try all the different clans. I mean, look at playing as a Nosferatu as well. That's a completely different gameplay experience. And again, it's what adds to replayability. And I don't really feel from the time I've spent playing Bloodlines 2 that there's going to be that much replayability on offer. So there are different dialogue choices and things, but it remains to be seen if it will have much of an effect on the actual story quest progression and that sort of thing. But so far from what I've seen, it's pretty linear. There's not a lot of freedom. I mean, so far the gameplay has pretty much felt like it's on rails kind of experience, you know what I'm saying? if you compare with the first Bloodlines game, you start with the intro cutscene, and if you choose to do the tutorial or not, you can do that. And then after that, you end up at your haven. And then from there, you have freedom to do as you wish. You have freedom to go check out the nightclub, go wander the streets, go feed on people, go to different buildings that are available, the pawn shop or whatever. There's content that was restored with the restoration mod where they restored the smoke shop. And I mean, there's some freedom, and you can go do random side quests. You don't have to progress with the main story with Mercurio. You can just do the side quest, do the whole zone, and then progress if you're ready to then move on to the next area. But there's freedom, you know, and there was, even though it was such a small, contained environment, it did feel like there was more of an illusion of, you know, like I said, freedom and exploration. So far with my experience playing Bloodlines 2, I've tried to wander around and check if there's any buildings I could go into or things I could do. As far as I can tell, there's not much you can do apart from what is on offer with the current main quest progression. So I don't know if I'm missing something or what, but it's literally go from point A to point B and so on and progress with the story, the dialogue, and the combat. And that has pretty much been my experience so far with Bloodlines 2.
So desperately want to just explore and do random other
Off to
stuff.
Weaver Tower to see the newest prince then?
Indeed.
I hate this on the rail story, just going from
Well,
one thing to another.
It's not often Isabella thinks someone is worth talking to. She must see you as an opportunity, or a fellow artist. Though that's not surprising, I suppose. She mostly ignores me, and for that, I'm thankful. No doubt you're wondering about the court, and Ryong Choi, our new prince, it seems. She is sharp as a tack, and deals fair. But who's to say? Power changes folks, I guess.
So as for the positive that Bloodlines 2 has on offer, the atmosphere is pretty decent. The music is not too bad, but I mean, Bloodlines 1 I still feel was better from my limited experience, at least from playing Bloodlines 2, if I were to compare the two. The dialogue and voice acting is pretty good. I really find the voice acting for Fabian to be quite interesting and amusing at times.
Time to earn the paycheck. If I got paid. Which I didn't, technically. Still. Hey there, Miss Pandora, how you feeling?
Still a bit antsy. I could kill for a cigarette. I guess I'm a little cold around the neck. Oh, and, dead?
Of course. What with you being a construct of my own mind, it was a stupid question. But I like to make my own psyche comfortable.
The characters also are pretty interesting, and I mean, I'm looking forward to progress with the story and progress with the, you know, exploring the characters and whatever is being presented with the main quest. So unfortunately, it is so far, if I were to compare it to any kind of game like Dishonored or that sort of thing, like a first-person adventure story game kind of thing. There's some combat. There's mostly just dialogue and story, and it's pretty much, like I said, linear on a rail kind of thing. You go from point A to point B, and that's it. So the RPG elements, pretty much non-existent. I mean, to say it's even RPG light is like a exaggeration, honestly. So from a role-playing perspective, it is pretty much a failure of a game. If you're just looking at the game, assessing the merits based on just the story and the environment and the setting, it's a pretty decent game so far, but you then can't compare the game at all to the first Bloodlines game. The way I feel about it, I wish they just removed Bloodlines from the title altogether and just did a different vampire game that wasn't a sequel, where there can't be any unfair comparisons or anything of that nature, because of course one is going to compare the game to the original. And I don't want to be negative to the Chinese room, because they did inherit quite a big issue to turn around and to produce a success of. But the reality is this is not a Bloodlines game. And the setting, the atmosphere and all that, it doesn't make up for the fact that it's not a role-playing game. So that is honestly my 2 cents about it. I personally am still going to continue playing and I want to finish the game, but I highly doubt I'd ever replay the game or that I would ever obsess about it in the way that I obsess about the first Bloodlines game. It's not going to stick with me for the rest of my life. I'm just going to play it and probably just move on with my life, and that's going to be that. So, and that's pretty sad for me because, I mean, 20 plus years of waiting and this is the sequel. But I do hope it's a success because I want more people to get drawn into this universe, to explore the world of darkness, the setting. It is such a fantastic setting. If any of you guys have ever played the tabletop, a role-playing experience that it's based on, I mean, there's so much potential there, and I just wish they would explore it and do it properly. Do proper role-playing games set in this universe because there's so much on offer, so much depth. I feel like the opportunities are just getting wasted at this point in time. And I hope that a different publisher, not Paradox, takes over the reins and does something different with the setting, provided, of course, that the game is a success and they actually deem it worth their time. Because that's, of course, the big fear. I mean, what if it ends up being a situation like Veilguard where they just decide it's not worth making another Dragon Age game? I mean, let's be real, yeah, we're probably never going to see another Dragon Age game because of the massive flop that was Veilguard. So that is my real fear, that Bloodlines 2 is going to be like Veilguard and people are not going to have any interest. It's just going to be dropped and that's it. It's going to be the end of that. So that's essentially my 2 cents about this whole story. If you guys are interested in joining me and chatting with me on Twitch, I'm going to be live streaming my gameplay. And just please excuse any hiccups I'm having at the moment with the technical issues with the webcam and so on. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope it gives you a bit of an insight to help you decide if it's worth purchasing Bloodlines 2 or not. My opinion is so far it's a good game, it's just not a Bloodlines game. And I think that's pretty much the consensus most other people have, people that, especially that are massive fans of the original game like I am.
Poor kid. One day selling salvation from a box, the next, poof, gone. Forgotten, buried. But isn't that the way of our world?
So I hope you guys enjoyed my video and I'll see you guys again soon.